Hey, welcome to the podcast. This is the Surge Effect, and this podcast, well, it'll probably have an effect on you. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Surge Effect. In this episode of the Surge Effect, we're going to be talking about bye-bye, Justin. We'll see you later, right? This guy has just destroyed Canada for the last 9 years. I'm going to play you some videos and stuff of just kind of a start to finish kind of thing, but things that have gone on in this country and things that are still going on in this country that are a bit of shenanigans. But anyway, before we get started, I always like to mention a couple of my sponsors. First sponsor is Love My Legs, Owen Sound, Grey Bruce. Click on the link below. Head on over to their webpage and see what they have to offer on Facebook. They have all kinds of ladies' leggings. Number two, Heshirtssheshirts Plus. Click on the link below. Head on over to their webpage and their Facebook page and see all the things that they have to offer. They are more than just another t-shirt company, and they also have lasered products. Okay. I also like to mention there's a couple of links down below. Head on over to see what Amazon has to offer for their Best Buys and their daily deals and all that stuff. Just click on those links and head over and check them out. All right, let's get started, everyone. First little video clip I'm going to show you here is of Justin Trudeau, of course, accepting the premiership, being prime minister. Here we go.
Sunny ways, my friends, sunny ways. This is what positive politics can do. This is what a positive, hopeful vision and a platform and a team together can make happen.
How far we've come. How far we have slid off the rails. Here is Justin Trudeau 9 years later.
Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
And there you have it. He got on television and of course resigned. But of course he then he went into prorogation and all this other business, and finally pulled the pin the other day.
I am so proud of Canadians. I'm proud to have served a country full of people who stand up for what's right, rise to every occasion, and always have each other's backs when it matters most. This may be my last day here in this office, but I will always be boldly and unapologetically Canadian. My only ask...
The stuff that he did to Canadians and saying he had Canadians' backs, the stuff that he did during the trucker convoy, calling the Emergency Act, calling in the goon squad, and doing everything he did to Canadians, that's not having our backs. Definitely not having our backs. And for that, he will forever be remembered, in my eyes, as the prime minister that did that to its people. He left with probably about a 3 or 4% popularity rate. Everyone in the world despises this guy, and it's time for him to move on. Here is a clip from, I believe it's Daisy Media, and good shout out to these guys. This guy does a great job. I'm just going to play this clip.
King Trudeau, what gives you the right to continue? What gives you the right to stay in office? You failed Canada. You've ruined our country. You're done. Walk away. You don't have an ounce of your father's integrity. At least he walked in the snow. You've ruined this country. Everyone around you is running from you. They're abandoning you. Chrystia Freeland, Sean Fraser, they've all left you. It's time for you to go. It's time for Canada to have an election. You're not the king.
He is not the king, and that's a fact. And that's DC doing that, DC Media. Here is one of Trudeau's last things he did the other day when he was getting out of Dodge. That's what he did. Yeah. Took a chair. I think that's probably the people's chair. We paid for that chair. Nice face, by the way. I think I've seen that face before, but had a different color on it, I think. Anyway, it's disgusting. Who's paying for that chair? Oh, that's right. We are. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Here is another clip, and this is of Justin, and this is through DC Media again.
Don't take Trudeau! Don't take the walk in the snow!
No legacy!
Come on! No, 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 no! That's Trudeau leaving for the last time as PM. Here he goes. Here he goes. Trudeau rolling out. Rolling out. Get the heck. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye.
So there you go. He gone. He done. Thank goodness for the destruction that he did to this great country of ours. He should be ashamed of himself. This is a clip of Stephen Guilbeault that just got fired the other day by the new coronated prime minister there, the Mark Carney. He just fired Stephen Guilbeault. Stephen Guilbeault was our energy czar. He was the big guy that was in charge of all the Green Deal stuff. And this is what he had to say.
Mr. Guilbeault, why should Canadians pay exorbitant prices for your carbon price fantasy at the harm of our Canadian economy? Our Canadian economy is hurting because of your government's decisions. Canadians in election after election after election, 3 by-elections now, the Liberals have lost 2 strongholds, Toronto, St. Paul, and Montreal. We're done. Canadians are rejecting you. Canadians are rejecting your government. Canadians want a change. But you continue to hold this country hostage. You continue to implement unsustainable climate change hysteria policies that are hurting us economically. They are not common sense. The average Canadian is hurting because of your policies and the things you and your government are doing. We want a change in this country. We want accountability. We want an election, sir. What do you have to say about that? We want an election, sir. We want a new government in this country, sir. Your time is over. We are done with the Liberals. It is time for a new government, sir.
A deal with separatists won't save you now.
That's right. That is a fact. Right blend. Shut out. Great questions. These guys are independent journalists, and they are doing an amazing job. And here's another little clip of another disgraced minister that was just let go by the coronated one. This guy's name was Mark Miller. He was our immigration minister, and this guy here let people into our country that wanted to harm Canadians as well as United States citizens as well. Let terrorists in that weren't vetted properly. But anyway, this guy just got fired the other day. So here we go. Listen to what he has to say when they ask him some questions.
Miller, thank you. Are you going to take accountability for the destructive immigration policies that you have, sir?
I understand you don't like immigrants.
Excuse me, sir, that's a false misrepresentation of me. I actually appreciate all Canadians, but I don't appreciate our infrastructure being overrun with reckless policies that burden our hospitals, take jobs from young people, and take housing options away from our communities. Sir, that's the fact. It's a simple supply and demand equation. We have too many people coming in, and we cannot accommodate them. This has nothing to do with not liking immigrants. This has everything to do with liking Canadians and protecting our Canadian economy so that we can accurately take these people in and actually accommodate them. So can you justify why we're taking in more than 1 million people a year, sir? Why?
It's very easy.
How many houses does Canada build, sir? Does Canada build enough dwellings to accommodate 1 million new people every year? Does our hospitals have enough places for 1 million new people needing health care every year, sir?
Dismissing us as racist does not solve the problem
sir.
either. And it's a major problem with the rhetoric of your government.
Yes.
Do you think it's okay to call Canadian citizens racist because you want to avoid the conversation?
Listen to
We don't have.
Yes,
You said
sir,
we have a
I don't
problem
like
with immigrants.
Sir, that is a misrepresentation. That is dishonesty, and it's everything that I would expect from your despicable government. Yes, you are.
He came up to you respectfully and asked you a question.
Not liking immigrants, sir. You accuse me of not liking immigrants, sir. That's not true.
See how they just keep they don't deflect, they just deflect the question, and they don't answer questions. And these people are in the Liberal government. They will not speak to reporters that are asking them the tough questions and journalists that ask them the tough questions. Here's another Marco Mendicino. He was part of Trudeau's cabinet, and this guy, he is a piece of work. They cut up to him. Facing Media, of course, right blend, asked him some questions, and this is what Marco had to say.
Ask you about that comment you made about using a tank on Canadian citizens.
How are you?
During the Freedom Convoy, you mentioned using a tank on Canadian citizens. Was that a joke? Or?
Hello. How are you?
Wasn't a joke. Was a joke. No. Election anytime soon? Anything?
And this guy, he is going to be, he was the transportation minister, and now he's going to be the chief of staff for the coronated one, Mark Carney. And you're probably wondering, tanks, you know, what's that guy talking about? Tanks. Like, what is up with that? Is that for real? Well, it is for real, because this came up in the court hearing. And this is actually Marco Mendicino's message to Lamente, who happened to be our Attorney General at the time. He said, you need to get the police to move and the CEF, if necessary, to many people are being seriously adversely impacted by what is an occupation, and I'm getting out as soon as I can. People are looking to you for leadership, and not stupid people. People like Carney, Kath, and my team, ... And then he says, well, how many tanks are you looking for? I just want to ask Anita how many we've got on hand. And Marco says, I reckon one will do. Fact. That was brought up in a court hearing, actually. So that is a fact. So listen to this young fella here. He dropped this just the other day, and this is about Canadians, of course, and this is what he had to say in regards to the Liberals.
9 years of Liberal leadership in Canada, which has gotten us maybe the worst reputation across the world that we've ever had in our history, multiple scandals, horrible economic management, a housing crisis, discouraging foreign investment and innovation due to stupid policies, high levels of national debt and deficit spending, rising inflation, multiple bills aimed at stifling free speech, horrible immigration management, frozen bank accounts, authoritarian measures, especially over COVID, crime rates skyrocketing, electing a prime minister recently that we didn't even vote for. Now China's implementing 100% tariffs on Canada. I could go on and on and on. And here we are. Support for the Liberals in Canada is on the rise in the last few weeks. And Donald Trump and Wayne Gretzky are apparently our enemies. After all of that, my friends, that's where our focus is right now. Let me ask this question, particularly for those who criticize my content and are on the other side. From my heart, okay, from one Canadian who loves his country fundamentally to another, what is it going to take? What has to happen beyond that for you to believe that we need an election and we need a change so we can make Canada great again? Let me know below.
Exactly. And I'm the same way. What needs to be done, right? People keep saying about Trump, and they keep saying, oh, Trump this and Trump that. Forget about Trump. Trump didn't do what Trudeau's done to us for 9 years. Trudeau did this. The Liberals did this. And if you don't realize that, you're just not paying attention. Forget about Trump. Forget about all this. He's only been in power for like 5 weeks. Trudeau's been in power for 9 years, folks. 9 years. So wake up to that fact. So here is Michelle Ferrari, and this is what she had to say about Carney, of course, because he's been coronated. He's the coronated one. Here she has to say about him.
Hey everyone, Michelle Ferrari here, Member of Parliament for Peterborough Kawartha. You've heard me speak about this multiple times, and I'm going to keep speaking about it because it is an abomination To the industry of journalism, Canadian journalists are not doing their job again. You have a post in the Financial Times that is talking about the shady company Brookfield. Brookfield is the company that Mark Carney, the newly appointed, crowned, soon to be your prime minister officially, is the chair of. He's chair of this company, okay? He wouldn't disclose his conflicts of interest to this company. This company has been accused of multiple infractions of tax avoidance, all kinds of very shady things. And not one Canadian media outlet has dug into this. It's insane. This guy is going to be, you know, the prime minister who's never been publicly elected ever, never won a nomination, a seat, nothing. And his conflicts of interest lists are a mile wide long, and Canadian media are not covering it. They've also pushed to give more money, billions more money into the CBC right before an election, claiming national security. Control the media, control the people. This is insane. You don't know what you don't know. If you don't know that this guy is tied to huge conflicts of interest of a company that cooks the books, seems fine to you, right? You have to know what you're dealing with.
And that in there lies the problem a lot of the times, because people don't understand, right, what is going on. And they have no knowledge of what's going on because no one's ever told them. That's the whole point of a lot of these podcasters, including myself, when I can find videos and find information that you've maybe never seen on mainstream media. And that's very important to get that information out there. Stuff that you will never see on mainstream media. And these are questions that mainstream media journalists would never ask questions of these liberals that, like I said, Right Blend and Daisy Media, they've been, you know, asking tough questions. And Rebel News, they ask tough questions. They don't like Rebel News because they do ask tough questions. And a lot of people go, oh, it's Rebel News. It's like they ask tough questions. If you don't think they do, listen to some of their content and ask yourself if you ever seen another media outlet, a mainstream media outlet, ask those same questions. They don't, and they never will, because the CBC, of course, is bought and paid for with Canadian tax dollars. So here's Mark Carney. Here's another little clip about Mark Carney. You may or may not know this information, so listen up.
This is Mark Carney. This is his wife, Diana Carney. And this is Ghislaine Maxwell, the recruiter for notorious pedophile Jeffrey Epstein's global child sex trafficking ring. Carney says he knew nothing of their crimes when he spoke to her at this party. But is that true? This photo is from 2013, 5 years after Epstein was first convicted of sex with minors. It was taken at the estate of Tanya Rotherwick, a British aristocrat who happens to be the one and only sister of Diana Carney. Tanya is known to be a close personal friend of Maxwell since high school. When Maxwell's father was arrested for his own crimes many decades ago, the Daily Mail reported that it was Tanya who she went to go cry to. And Jeffrey Epstein himself had 7 different numbers under Diana Carney's sister's name in his infamous little black book, 2 of which are for someone named Diana. Was Mark Carney really unaware of who Maxwell was? Or did he just not care? Who is Mark Carney?
So there you go. So there's a little clip that you may or may not have ever seen. There's another little clip I'm about to play for you here in regards to Mark Carney, our coronated prime minister.
Came across a surreal report. Watch this. I'm going to summarize it as quickly as I can, but this is when Mark Carney was in charge. It's called Brookfield's Climate Paradox. It literally looks at their pledges, what they tell you and I, and the fossil fuel reality. It's insane. Specifically states facts do not square with promises touted by Brookfield executive and net zero advocate Mark Carney. Brookfield portrays itself as a climate-friendly investor, but with over 215 fossil fuel assets emitting nearly 159 million metric tons of CO2 annually, their actions paint a different picture. And here's the crazy part. The emissions figure is nearly 14 times higher than the figures Brookfield discloses in its most recent sustainability report, and greater than the CO2 emissions produced by burning 178 billion pounds of coal. Fact, Brookfield's 2022 environmental ranking was a failing D grade. This is the good part. They go into detail and they specifically call out their management chair and the head of transition investing, Mark Carney, a prominent former central banker, despite being a high-profile advocate for the financial sector's commitments to net zero targets, including acting as co-chair of the G funds, which he founded. Carney oversees investment decisions that starkly contrast with sustainable and transparent practices. Brookfield embodies the definition of greenwashing. Within this context, Mark Carney is central to Brookfield's branding as a responsible green investor. And this is the best statement of it all. Mark Carney has orchestrated a rally of financial sector commitments towards reaching net zero. However, by setting targets without committing to clear emissions reductions or a move away from fossil fuels altogether, GFANZ is largely symbolic. This, in the report, it breaks down all of their energy assets, renewable, upstream, midstream, downstream, and you see them all. Power station, compressor station, LNG terminal, pipeline processing. Brookfield is in the business of gas and oil, but Mark Carney is telling us, you and I, that Canada is not in this business, and this is supposedly supposed to be a Canadian company, to which he moved the headquarters from Canada into the US and lied about it.
That's a fact, and this goes on and on. I just want to give you the highlights of the start of that. This gentleman here did a fantastic job of doing a synopsis. This thing goes on for another couple of minutes. I don't want to play it all, but you get the gist of it, right? The gist of it is about Mark Carney and what he's done and what he has said he's done. I'll let you be the judge whether or not you think he's playing some shenanigans and doing stuff that's underhanded. But remember this. Mark Carney, he's all the time that he has had a gathering of folks, right? Because he was running to be the Liberal leader. He always did it on private property, because when reporters came, he could kick them off because it's not public. If it was public, then the people would be okay with it, and the reporters could go there and he couldn't just kick them off. But they were all public. They were all private. And not only were they private, people that actually had signed in prior to go and ask questions, they were turned away at the door as well. Things like this from Rebel News and from other independent journalists, this happened to them frequently. Why does Mark Carney not want to answer questions from the people of this country, from Canada, people from Canada? Why doesn't he not want to answer simple questions that they have to ask? Because he's hiding something. If you have nothing to hide, hide nothing. It's that simple. So here's Rebel News here, and they're asking some questions to Liberals, and let's listen in. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's too long. It's about 20 minutes long, but I'm going to play a little bit.
I would love to be inside, but the Liberal Party is continuing to block independent press.
So that's why you're chasing people around the street. I think Pierre Poilievre should get a security clearance.
Yeah. Do you think Canadians can actually still trust the Liberal Party, who actually destroy the immigration system, they destroy the economy? What did you think about the fact that they remove Chandraria and Rubidala from the race?
I don't know the internal reasons. I was not told that, but I trust the party and their judgment. I have full faith in what the party's done.
Frank Bayless, that she was just talking to, he was actually running for the Liberal lead, along with Freeland and Gould, and of course Mark Carney. But you never heard of this guy very much, right? Never heard of that guy, because they don't want anyone else. They wanted to coronate Mark Carney. That's who they wanted.
Minister Owen, knowing that the COVID-19...
This is Mr. Holland here. Mark Holland, he just quit. So he's another Liberal a cabinet minister that just packed it in. And this guy, he's a piece of work too, but he just packed her in.
Vaccine have done a lot of consequences. Do you think we should remove those products from the market? Mr. Holland, you're the health minister. Do you think we should remove the COVID-19 vaccine from the market?
And my definition of old has changed, but old Liberals coming back, members who've never been part of the party before, united with one purpose.
Don't let this guy fool you. Just don't let him fool you. I just played a little bit of that, and that what she was saying about like asking questions, that the journalists were being stifled and stymied from actually going into some of these areas to talk to people. And it's disgusting. And when she had the chance and she was talking to people that were liberals, they were laughing and chuckling. They weren't even listening to them or even wanted to ask her questions. It's like we don't care what you think. It's like they're making their $300,000 a year and they're good with it. You know? So anyway, I'm just going to put this picture up here. This just happened just the other day, of course. There was in the paper that Justin Trudeau, he spent $11 billion in overseas gender programs during his tenure. And of course, back in 2019, he said that the budget, it'd be balanced by 2019. So stuff like that just kind of irks me. But I just wanted to show you. Let's keep this picture up here. Just while I'm going to read you something about Justin Trudeau. So basically, what's your last message to Justin Trudeau as he finally exits the office that he's pretty much done, that he's toasting? He's had so many scandals over the years. It's the Aga Khan vacation scandal, 2016, the Elbowgate scandal in 2016, SNC Lavalin affairs, 2019, the blackface and brownface, 2019, the trip to India in 2018. You had the We Charity scandal in 2020. You had the Cash for Access for a fundraiser from 2016 to 2017. The China election interference allegations from literally 2019 to 2023. The CSIS interference in Canadian Security Intelligence Services and stuff. The Arrive scam app mismanagement of 2022 to 2023. It was an $80 million. It was $54 million app that was created. It could have been done over the weekend with a case of beer and a couple of tech dudes. The Green Slush Fund, 2022 to 2023. The Nazi veteran, of course, scandal of 2023 where he was brought into the House and, of course, no one knew anything about it kind of thing. Woo! And then the Speaker of the House was actually, he apologized and he resigned over that. Trudeau Foundation Chinese donations of 2016 to 2023. Not sure what's going on with that because something just dropped the other day about the RCMP were actually following him, following Trudeau and following some Chinese cat. Some guy had to do with money laundering. Kokanee groping allegation of 2018. Skipping, like this goes on and on and on. What this guy has done over the course of 9 years. It's just wild. So anyway, leave your messages below what you think, what you'd like to say to Justin for his final message. And before I sign off this podcast, I'm just going to leave you a little bit of stuff that he's done here.
Between running with a record now and running in 2015. Well, what I can say now is look at what we've done.
It's become the billion-dollar question. How big will the federal deficit be? The deficit could rise above $20 billion.
Today, a ruling came down that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has broken several conflict of interest rules.
The Prime Minister broke the law in 4 different places, and that's just talking about the Conflict of Interest Act.
Why are we still fighting against certain veterans groups? Because they're asking for more than we are able to give right now. The fact is, we work we'll just try to reorder the thoughts.
$12 million to install energy-efficient refrigerators for a corporation that made $800 million last year. Owned by the Westons, one of Canada's richest families, worth $13.5 billion.
My question is, why does it have to be done with taxpayer dollars? Why do we have to fork out $12 million to help Loblaws?
Gerald Butts and Katie Telford had in total received over $200,000 in moving expenses.
Liberals have apologized and paid more than $10 million to Omar Khadr, a payout which has divided Canadians right across the country.
It's the first foreign trip Trudeau will come back from with his image tarnished.
Trudeau's
visit to India has been a colossal failure.
SNC-Lavalin is in the middle of a legal fight of its own.
I experienced a consistent and sustained effort to politically interfere.
The allegations are false.
This is not the first time the Prime Minister has been found to have contravened the Conflict of Interest Act.
Over and over and over again. That's what this guy's done. He is, in my eyes, probably the worst prime minister that we've ever had in Canadian history. Spent more money than all the other prime ministers combined since Sir John A. Macdonald, our very first prime minister. And this is what the Bloc had to say about Trudeau. I'm just going to play this last little clip here before I call it over.
Who it is that takes over this Liberal Party, you will not work with them.
The institution we are facing is the Liberal Party of Canada. It has been deeply transformed by Mr. Trudeau, and there is no possible way for this party to become something else in a few weeks. So we are facing the same people with the same values, the same ideology. We have to go in elections.
That's right. We have to go in elections. That's what he said, right? You have to go in elections because it's the same shit, different pile. Same group of people. The same people from his cabinet are being hired on by the coronated one. And people need to wake up. They need to wake up and smell the coffee cooking because this shit is going to come down again and we're going to have the same government. So we can't have that. We just can't. So pay attention. Keep up to speed what's going on. And that's it for today's podcast, everyone. And I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing and liking my channel. Much appreciated. I always like to say, too, that everyone in life goes through something. Everyone has things that they're going through in their life. And I always like to say, keep moving forward. It's one thing you got to do. You got to keep moving forward. Just because there's nothing waiting for you back there. Nothing. You've already been there. You got to keep moving forward. It's very, very important. Life is tough. Life is tough. No one said it was going to be easy. Just keep moving forward. And with that note, thanks again for liking and subscribing to my channel. And like it, share it, helps with the algorithm. It's much appreciated. And until next time, everyone, cheers.